All right, I don't know how to say this. Today we're going to talk about a mastering technique. And what it does is it makes your track sound more professional and polished. And it can also make your track sound like it has a bit more excitement and width to it while also strengthening the core of this track. Yeah, I think that's how I describe it. So we're in my YouTube example session. So these are just a few samples straight from Splice, not changed much, if at all. I think it's basically not changed at all. And what I do is I grab samples off Splice for these YouTube videos so that I don't have to worry about copyright stuff in the future. Hopefully I don't have to worry about copyright stuff. So this is a bit simpler than a lot of my sessions would be, but that's what we're looking at here. And what I have is I have this master fader. I'm just gonna hold shift and open up my meter here so we can see what's going on. We clipped in a previous YouTube video, but I'm just going to put it over here. I held shift and clicked on it so that this red rectangle here would not be lit up. And that means I can open up another plugin over it. So if you don't do that, it's a good one to know. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually be using the FabFilter Pro-Q here within this session. So I'm just going to play what we have so far. Swear we'll be better than I would. So that's what we have. And what we're actually going to be doing here is we're going to be using the FabFilter Pro-Q for this technique. So I'm going to type in FabFilter Pro-Q 3. I have the 3. I'm out of date. But, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And, you know, life's hard sometimes. And I'm going to highlight this whole section here. So I'm going to do period 1 period to jump to the first marker, hold shift, and then period 5 period to jump to the next marker. And that's period and the numbers on the numeric keypad to jump to markers. So now I have this set. It's ready to go. And the basic idea here is to use mid-side EQing in your mix. And this, I'm showing it as a mastering technique, but you can also use it on individual elements within your mix if you want to have that effect on an individual element, right? So I'm going to show you here just on a master, but just keep in mind you can use it in other ways as well. So what I like to do, we have these bands within FabFilter, and you'll notice that it defaults to stereo. But what you can do is you can swap it over to left and right or mid and side. So with mid-side processing, what the computer is often doing is it's creating a mid channel and sides channels. So it's going to process the sound a little bit differently than if you just had it in stereo mode. And so this is referencing like mid-side recording, for example, which I have videos on. So I'll put links to that in the cards and in the description below for you. But the basic idea with the mid-side recording is you have a microphone that's pointing at the sound source that's often either cardioid or omni. I think it's a little more often than it's cardioid, but I could be wrong. And then we also have a figure 8 mic that's pointing to the sides of the space that you're recording in. And so when we're recording in mid-side, you then end up with a dedicated microphone that's the mid channel. So that's that microphone that's pointing at the sound source. And then you bring in the figure 8 mic and you duplicate it and you polarity flip one of them. So it's 180 opposite direction as the other version of itself. And then you hard pan those two versions of itself. And then what you do is I like to group the two versions of the figure 8 mic, the polarity flipped and the regular version. I group them together and then I bring them up in the mix and you'll feel the sense of space rise up with those two tracks. So when you're actually doing a real mid-side recording, you often have a track that is the mid track within your DAW once you're done recording. And then you have two tracks that are the side tracks within your DAW. So that's kind of what this is emulating. And I don't know all the details for how they program it. Don't know why I would, but I could probably dig into it more. So if anyone has any info on that, let me know. But just keep in mind with this plugin, you can change a band to just mid or just side. And that's what we're going to leverage today. So this has to do with panning, right? Left to right. Is it stereo? Is it mid? Is it side? Et cetera, et cetera. It has to do with panning. And one of the things that I like to think about with panning, there are a whole bunch of things that I think about with panning, but I like to think about frequency content and then pan things kind of according to frequency content, right? I often also think about visualizing where things might be in the space. If you were like looking at a band performing, for example, you might visualize where they might be and place them accordingly in the stereo spectrum. But the other thing that I think about is a little bit about the actual frequency content. And so this might be familiar to you. For example, oftentimes we put bass right down the middle, and that has to do with a whole bunch of things. You know, the human ear is not as sensitive to directionality with bass frequencies, but the other part of it has to do with vinyl records, right? And how vinyl records, if it had a ton of bass, or if it had bass that had variation from left to right, the needle would skip very easily. So, like a lot of things with mixing, early technology had this limitation to it where you couldn't have a ton of stereo spread with bass. And so we started putting bass right down the middle. And that's still something that's done today, even though we often don't need to worry about that so much. But on the other side of that, it makes sense because we are not as sensitive to directionality from super low frequencies. The other side of that is high frequency content, right? So with high frequency content, we tend to be much more sensitive to what direction something that's high frequency is coming from. So oftentimes with something that's a bit higher frequency, I might do more with moving it out to the edges of the spectrum, right? And to the sides, so to speak, right? So oftentimes what I think about, and it depends on the individual instrument, it depends on a whole bunch of other things, but I often think about the mid channel being more of a low frequency thing or low mids type of thing. And then the sides channels having a bit more of the high frequency stuff and the stuff that helps it feel wide and directional in that sense. I hope that makes sense. So one thing that I like to do when I am mastering something, and this is just sometimes, it all depends, but I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing people saying it depends, right? But one thing that you can try with your mix is switching over one of these bands that's in a bell curve, right? So I just brought this purple band up and switching it over into the mid channel. So now it's just affecting the mid channel and we're kind of boosting those lows or those low mids, right? So I might put this here to start, and then I might take another frequency band. I'm going to do this guy here, this high shelf. I'm going to do this one. There's like two ways that I sometimes do this. One is kind of around like 3, 4, 5K, depending on the track. And then the other is the high shelf. And so with these, what I often like to try is switching these over to the sides. So I'm going to switch these over to the sides, and let's hear this. I'm going to turn these on and off, and you'll notice that these have their own curves. So when I highlight over these, right, there's the yellow curve, which is the stereo curve, stereo. Bring this back down, turn it off. And then there's the green one, which is the mid channel. And then there's this blue one, that's the sides. So let's hear it again. Do I have my highlight? I do. Okay, so let's hear it. I'm low, 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 low. I swear we'll be better than I was. I'm gonna bypass it. I thought that I was special. We will be together. I'm low, 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 low. So you can try this at home too, and you can make it more extreme if you really want to lock into what the difference is before you then. I often make it only a few dB if I'm going to do it, but it's a good ear training trick to kind of crank it and hear how it affects things, and then dial it back and your brain kind of anchors onto it. So let's do that really quick. I'm going to do the period 1 period, period 5 period with shift. And we have that highlighted. I'm low, 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 low. I swear we'll be better than I was. I thought that I was special. So it's bringing up those lower frequencies, those low mids in the mid channel, right? In the middle of our mix. And then it's bringing up these higher frequencies on the edges, on the sides of our mix. So let me hit play again. I'm going to bring these in and out for the individual bands here. So period 1 period, shift, period 5 period to get my highlight. I'm low, 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 low. I swear we'll be better than I was. So it adds a little power, a little more stability. We will be together. I'm low, 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 low. I swear we'll be better than I was. I thought that I was special. We will be together. I'm low, 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 low. I swear we'll be better than I was. I thought that I was special. We will be together. I'm low, 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 low. I swear we'll be better than I was. So hopefully you can hear how bringing up the mids in this lower range helps bring a little bit of stability and power to the track, and then bringing up the sides in the upper frequencies might help add a little bit of excitement and stereo variation and width to it sometimes too. So that's the basic technique. Another thing that I like to do is sometimes on a master, I'll bring in a high pass filter like this one. Swap it to 12 so it's a little more transparent here. And then I make this affect just the sides. So it's just cutting the low frequencies in the sides, right? So it's making the low frequencies, everything below here, more mono, right? It's bringing it so it's just in the mid. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring this up, and hopefully you'll be able to hear that as I drag this way up, it's kind of getting rid of that stereo spread. It's getting rid of those sides from the low frequencies up, and you'll be able to hear how it affects things a little bit more. Hopefully it'll help you latch onto that. So I'm going to do period 1 period, shift period 5 period to get my highlight again. I can see it's here. And then I'm going to hit play with my space bar. I'm low, 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 lost. I swear we'll be better than I was. I thought that I was special, we will be together. I'm low, 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 lost. I swear we'll be better than. It's like as I drag it up and make it more extreme, it's kind of slowly collapsing the mix down, right? So I do this sometimes to kind of help like monofy, make the low end more mono. That's one thing that I'll do. It kind of depends on the genre and the style and what the sounds are, but something to keep in mind. It's something that you can do and you can mess with. And I usually don't go too crazy with this, but it'll help to just have a little bit of that in the master. So that's kind of it. Something to keep in mind. I had this one that I opened up so we could take a look at it. So this is something that I set after a little more fiddling, and then I made it a little more extreme for this video. One thing you could do to kind of test things out if you want is you could take this and option, shift and drag to duplicate it, and then you could switch these back to stereo, right? You can compare and contrast having it in stereo versus the mid-side type of technique. So that's something you can do. I would keep in mind this is going to make the whole thing louder overall. And same thing with this, right? It made it louder overall. So if you want to do a really good test, what I would do is adjust the output level so that it's about the same before and after the plugin is in play, and then bypass and bring it in and out. Hit the bypass button to bring it in and out. So that's something I would recommend if you're really trying to figure out if you like it more or less. It helps you make a little bit more of an informed decision if you match the levels for before and after you add your plugin in. So I would do that if you, especially if you're like forming your thoughts and your opinions on this type of a technique. So here, let's hear that. Let me do period 1 period, shift period 5 period. I'll bring this one in by command clicking on it, and then I'll bring this one in. I'll do one at a time. I'm low, 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 lost. I swear we'll be better than I was. So much louder. I thought that I was special, we will be together. So it's just something to keep in mind. Really quick, before we move on, I just want to say that this video is sponsored by me. So if you don't want to deal with any of this nonsense and you'd rather just hire a professional to work on your music, that way you can focus on the artistry, then please feel free to check out my website. It's catonoise.com. There's a get started button on there. My specialty is indie pop and alt rock. So especially if you're in one of those genres, I'd love to talk to you. All you have to do is click the get started button. It's going to ask you a couple questions about your music so I can get an idea of where you are and what you're doing and what your style is. And then it's going to take you to a calendar page where you can book a call with me to talk about your music. So it's a free, no obligation call. And what it is we'll just get into Zoom or a phone call. We can also do a phone call. Just let me know. And we'll talk about your music and see if we're a good fit for each other. So if you are considering hiring a professional, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, back to the video. And I think I might start using this a little bit more on individual instruments too and see how that goes, because I've done that a little bit, but not a lot. Usually when I'm doing this, it's kind of on the master track. So that's kind of interesting. And then the other thing to keep in mind is I've also seen people, like if I turn this off here, for a master, if you, for example, want to help vocals pop out in a master, I had to do this recently for a client. I had to help vocals pop out in a master, and often vocals, I have a whole nother video that's about this, so I'll link to it on the cards in the description. But a lot of what can help a vocal pop through is right around the 3K range. So I've seen people do this, and I've done this, where you use a similar type of curve in terms of frequency and everything, but instead of boosting the sides to help get like a little bit of width, you boost the mids. And so what that does is it boosts that stuff that helps the vocals pop in the location where the lead vocals tend to be. And that can kind of help you give those lead vocals, especially lead vocals, a little bit more presence in a master. Ideally, I would want to just increase the lead vocals in the mix, but it's something that you can do to help give it a little bit more of a boost there if you want that, right? So that's another thing you can do. And again, that's just taking advantage of the frequencies that help vocals pop. So around the 3K kind of depends on the voice. And then often like 10K or above gives it a little bit of air, a little bit more presence there. And by doing that in the mid band, it's kind of targeting where that lead vocal tends to be, and it helps boost it in that position where it should be, right? So that's a different thing. It's kind of a different technique, but I thought I'd mention it because it's kind of similar, kind of related. So yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to talk about today. I would love to hear in the comments below how you have used these mid-side features in the FabFilter Pro-Q. I would love to hear about it because there's always something that someone's doing that I haven't heard about yet. So I love that about audio engineering. That's one of my favorite things about audio engineering. Please feel free to chime in the comments below. I'd love to talk to you all about it. And other than that, I have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/CatoNoise. We have a Discord server that we're all hanging out on. We have a book club that we're running on the Discord server. My patrons get access to additional content, early release videos, stuff like that. You can join for as little as $1 a month, and it helps support this channel, keep this channel independent and nerdy and not just selling you stuff constantly like a lot of videos here on YouTube. I guess I'm a nerd. I'm a college professor now. I've been doing this now for kind of a long time. I started assisting in studios over 20 years ago, did that while I was in school. I've been audio engineering since graduating school. Oh my gosh, my voice is going. And the whole time, this has never ceased to keep me engaged and interested. I just love the art and science combo, you know, that audio engineering is. So I don't know. That's why I like nerding out about it with people on the internet. And I feel like the more we talk about it, the more we'll learn and grow together. So that's kind of the whole point. And my voice is going. So I'm just going to say I make new videos every Wednesday. And thank you so much for hanging out. Okay. Oh my gosh, my voice is going. I'm trying to batch film again because I've kind of fallen out of batch filming because my GoPro used to overheat, and now I'm just using a webcam. So hopefully it's not a problem. Hopefully all these got recorded, and now I've batched filmed the whole month of January, and so you'll probably see this at the end of January, I'm guessing. But I just finished talking for 4 videos worth of talking, and my voice is not used to talking that much. So I'm gonna go be quiet somewhere and maybe read a book. Maybe I'll do my book club reading. Maybe that's what I'll do. It's a Saturday, so I feel like I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to go do some book club reading. By the way, the book club meets on Sundays, Sunday mornings in the voice channel. You can like chat in the text channel that we have on the Discord for Patreons. But if you want to come to the actual meetings, we tend to meet on Sunday mornings. So that's Pacific time. So if you're interested in joining and you're free around that time, come join us. Join the Patreon. Join us. It'd be a lot of fun. There's only a few of us, so we're actually pretty flexible sometimes about time, but it does tend to be Sunday mornings. So, let me know. You can reach out to me on social media and stuff if there's, if you're like, hey, could you change it if I join? Let me know. We can talk. It's very unofficial around here. I don't know how else to say that, but I kind of like it this way. So got my little tiny studio that's kind of a mess, but it works really well for me. I've got a whole bunch of Polaroid photos all over the wall, and it really makes me happy. And I don't know. I think I'm rambling now, so I'll talk to you later. Bye.